As always, it is so great to have you here, and I hope you're staying safe and healthy out there. Anyways, today we've got a special treat here on Spain on a Fork. We're making a one-pot cheesy spaghetti. Now, this is a dish to truly get excited about. We're talking perfectly cooked spaghetti in a rich and delicious tomato sauce, and then it's topped off with melted fresh mozzarella to take things to the next level. Folks, not only is this recipe very easy to make and done in just 30 minutes, but once again, this is a one-pot pasta dish, meaning we're gonna cook the spaghetti in the same pan as the tomato sauce. That way the starch from the pasta stays in the dish, which gives it the most incredible textures and flavors. Let's begin by grabbing a large fry pan. You can also use a stock pot here if you like. Heat it with a medium heat and add in a generous 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, which is 35 milliliters. While the olive oil is heating, I'm gonna finely chop 1 small onion and roughly chop 4 cloves of garlic. And we'll add in the chopped onion and garlic into the pan with the hot olive oil. And we'll mix the ingredients around, that way they're all coated in that olive oil. And I always like to mix this continuously, that way everything evenly sautés. After about 3 minutes, and the onion is nice and translucent, I'm gonna add in half a teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, which is 1.25 grams. 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, which weighs in at about 2 grams. And 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, which is about 1 gram. And we'll give it a mix, that way the seasonings are evenly coating the garlic and onion. And let me tell you, by adding the seasonings right now, it's gonna make them nice and fragrant. As always, the Spanish paprika I'm using in this recipe is from Kiva. You'll find a link where you can get some in the description box below. And if you buy it from that link, you'll get 25% off your order. Then we'll add in a 14.5 ounce can of tomato sauce, which is 410 grams. A 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes, which once again is 410 grams. And we'll season everything with sea salt, a generous portion of freshly cracked black pepper, and a pinch of white sugar to cut the acid from the canned tomatoes. And we'll give it a mix until everything's well mixed together, and then simmer it for a couple minutes. After about 5 minutes, and the tomato sauce has slightly thickened up, I'm gonna add in 2 cups of vegetable broth, which is 480 milliliters. Of course, you can also use water here if you like, but let me tell you, by using the broth, it gives this pasta dish a beautiful lift of flavors. Then we'll turn up the heat to a high heat, and we'll give it a mix and bring the broth to a boil. Once the broth comes to a boil, it's time to add in the pasta. Once again, for this recipe, I'm using spaghetti, but you can use whatever type of pasta you like. I'm gonna grab 8 ounces, which is 225 grams. And we'll add the spaghetti into the pan. And as you can see, the spaghetti doesn't perfectly fit in there, which is not a big deal. As it starts cooking and softening up, you start mixing the spaghetti around. In about 30 seconds, all the spaghetti is gonna be coated in that broth. And let me tell you, you don't have to mix this continuously, but you do wanna get in there every 1 to 2 minutes. That way the spaghetti doesn't stick together and it all evenly cooks. In the meantime, let's start getting the cheese ready. I'm gonna grab 2 balls of fresh mozzarella, pat them completely dry with paper towels. And we'll cut each ball of mozzarella into rounds that are 1/4 inch thick, which is a little over 1/2 centimeter. After about 7 minutes, and you can see the majority of the broth has been absorbed by the pasta, but there's still some broth left, I'm gonna place a lid on the pan, and we'll lower the fire to a low-medium heat, and we're gonna simmer this between 2 to 4 minutes, or until all that broth has been absorbed by the pasta. Then we'll remove the lid from the pan. We'll give it a mix, that way the tomato sauce is evenly coating all the spaghetti. And then we'll add in the slices of fresh mozzarella, making sure they're all in a single layer. Then we'll place the lid back on the pan and remove the pan from the heat. And we're gonna let this sit here between 2 to 3 minutes or until that mozzarella is fully melted through. After a couple minutes, we'll remove the lid from the pan. We'll grab some fresh basil leaves, just stack them together. Then tightly roll the leaves together and finely chop them. And we'll sprinkle the fresh basil over the pasta. Check it out, our one-pot cheesy spaghetti is done. And let me tell you, this dish packs some serious flavors. But the best part, super easy to make and made with the simplest ingredients. Let's give it a try and see how it turned out. You know, for a pasta lover like me, this is a dish I can't wait to try. Here we go. Cheesy goodness. It is so good. First things first, the spaghetti's beautifully cooked al dente, absolutely no mush in there. And then that rich tomato sauce with the melted mozzarella, taking things to the next level. But the beauty of this pasta dish is that we did it all in just one pan. That way the starch from the pasta stays in there, giving it the most incredible textures and flavors. And even better yet, less dishes to clean up, folks. This is the perfect pasta dish for a busy weeknight, yet elegant enough for a relaxed weekend lunch next to a bottle of Spanish wine. Either way, give it a try at home and I promise you're gonna absolutely love it. Really quick before I go, shout out to a couple of my patrons, Melissa Thurman, Leslie Tyson, Alan Sanchez, Jay Edwards, and Kevin Moran. And guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Leave me a comment below. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your family and friends. That way our Spain on a Fork community can continue to grow. Till the next time, hasta luego.